The electrons in an atom occupy different energy levels. When all of the electrons are at the lowest possible energy level, they are said to be in the ground state. Electrons do not always stay in the ground state. Sometimes they can be promoted to a higher energy electron shell, which can happen in two ways. Either the electron can absorb a photon with just the right amount of energy to move it from the one quantum shell to another, or atoms can be heated and their electrons can gain energy from this heat, promoting them to a higher energy shell. In this higher energy shell, the electron is said to be in an excited state. Electrons in the excited state do not usually stay there very long. When they lose their energy, they do so by emitting a photon of light. Photons are particles with energy but no mass, and this energy is proportional to their frequency. The photons emitted precisely match the quantum energy difference between the excited state and the ground state. For different elements, the spacing between the ground state and the higher energy levels is different. This gives rise to a way to uniquely identify elements based on their spectrum in the flame test. The amount of energy in the photon determines its color. Red for the lowest energy of visible light, increasing energy through the rainbow of orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and finally violet for the highest energy of visible light. The arrangement of electrons in an atom determines the sizes of the quantum jumps, and thus the energy and colors of the collection of photons emitted, known as the emission spectrum. In this way, the emission spectrum serves as a fingerprint of the element to which the atoms belong. We can view the emission spectrum of colors all at once with the naked eye. It will appear to be one color, which we will carefully describe. A flame test is a procedure used to test qualitatively for the presence of certain metals in a chemical compound. When the compound to be studied is excited by heating in a flame, the metal ions will begin to emit light. Based on the emission spectrum of the element, the compound will turn the flame a characteristic color. The materials you'll need for this lab include one Bunsen burner, 6 metal solutions, lithium chloride, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, strontium chloride, copper chloride, and a mystery mixture, 6 cotton swabs, and safety goggles.
Once you turn the gas on and you have your safety goggles on, with the help of your instructor, light the Bunsen burner.
I was just really stuck.
Dip the cotton swab inside of the lithium chloride solution, making sure that the tip gets fully wetted. Then, place the Q-tip over the flame and observe the color produced.
Next we have copper chloride.
Lithium chloride seems to burn a bright red flame. Repeat the process with each of the 6 solutions. Next, we are using sodium chloride. Over the flame, sodium chloride produces a bright yellow flame. The third solution is potassium chloride. Make sure to wet the Q-tip. And over the flame, it produces a nice violet color. The fourth solution is copper chloride. Again, repeat the same process of wetting the Q-tip and placing it over the flame. Copper burns a nice green color. The fifth solution is strontium chloride. Strontium chloride burns a deep red color, red-orange. The last solution is a mix of two of the prior solutions. So again, using the same procedures, wet the Q-tip, and we're going to place it over the flame and observe the color to see what mix of metals the solution contains.
Doing brass.
So we can see a nice red color. Again, to confirm our results. We see red and hints of green. Okay, so conclusions based on the flame test lab. So our purpose was achieved. We identify the unknown solution as a mixture of copper chloride and lithium chloride based on its green and bright red flames. We discovered the relationship between the energy released upon the electron moving back from the excited state to the ground state and the color of the light emitted in the spectra. These results can be stated as the mathematical expression energy is directly related to Planck's constant times frequency. Into other situations, these results can be generalized to get a general knowledge of how much energy is required to move an electron of the metal into the excited state from the ground state. The limiting conditions would be you have to have the minimum energy required for the photon striking the electron would have to have the minimum energy required to move it into its excited state. And for practical applications of this lab, you could use a flame test lab to quickly identify and roughly identify what sort of metals a compound contains based on the emission spectra.
Really the only sources of error in this lab are going to be based on the purity of the liquid with the compounds that we put in the flame, and like how far we put the Q-tip in the flame, because if you put it in too far, it's going to burn the Q-tip itself, which just emits an orange color. So there wasn't really any percent error because there aren't really calculations in this lab. There's not really a lot of accuracy or precision. It's really qualitative instead of quantitative. There's not any like computer processing software we're using to very specifically test the colors that are being emitted. We're just using the human eye and our perception and generalizing what colors are coming out to make these assumptions on the mystery compound. So, yeah.